At this time, all attendees are present on the call. Please note there will be no questions during or after. Make note of questions or concerns and take them up with your federal support team after the call. Please welcome our host, John Proctor.
Good afternoon. Everyone on the call should have the documents we forwarded an hour ago. They detailed the Defense Production Act of 1950 and the three major areas it addresses. We have detailed the PPE and ventilator production initiative, including quantities and schedules we have set forth for each of the products to be manufactured. You have all seen the news clips. On January 24th, the Chinese started from raw dirt with a plan to have 1,000 beds housed in an emergency complex with a 2-story unit in the mix and active by February 3rd. If you think for 1 minute they're not taking this seriously, don't. They are, and we are taking it seriously as well. Note that we have taken great measures to map the entire process from raw materials, component manufacturer, final assembly, and distribution for each item to be produced. You will also note that our production flow charts begin at raw materials and natural resources and end with distribution to end users. So basically, from pumping oil from the ground to getting a PPE on a citizen, be they a medical professional, first responder, or civilian personnel, is mapped. If your review of that material and process chain identifies anything we have missed or is in error, we will need you to let us know immediately. With the scale of this effort, there is a very small margin for error, and errors are just not going to be acceptable, considering there are potentially tens or even hundreds of thousands of lives at stake. You may have already welcomed in for the call or have waiting in your lobby or the front of your home 4 representatives of the federal government. Represented there is one member of each of the following departments: the Department of Defense, the Department of the Treasury, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, and the U.S. Department of Justice. Defense is there to work with you on planning, logistics, innovation in process, supply chain, and distribution at all levels. They will move mountains if that is what it takes to meet our goals. They can recruit labor resources, perform large-scale movement of raw materials and supplies, and they can source and move machinery and other equipment to your production sites as needed. Treasury is there to collaborate with you to ensure that financial resources needed to achieve the production targets are readily available. Justice is there to assist you and your counsel in understanding the law and your obligations under the law. They will be assisting in preparing official documentation you will need to get back to us no later than tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. The FBI is there to make official inquiries, receive testimony regarding matters of historical pricing, vendors, and customer data on the products or services you will provide, and other pertinent subject matter. These 4 individuals represent your team. Please welcome them in and take advantage of their expertise. In this first tranche of production focusing on PPE and ventilation products, each of the companies on this call will be challenged to produce and deliver respectively natural resources, raw material, finished components, finished products, and distribution at a scale approximately as much as 36 times your current output capacity. We have 1 month to deliver 1 year's worth of goods. Make no mistake, we understand the magnitude of this challenge, and we will use the provisions of the Act to ensure that every obstacle to success is removed. We anticipate COVID-19 to escalate exponentially over the coming months, and CDC has offered guidance that the products you will produce are critical to ensuring we have the greatest likelihood of stemming the rising tide of the virus. It is active, it is highly contagious, it travels and spreads in epic speeds, and it is contagious before symptoms are detectable. As a side note, we're having a call similar to this in the next hour with companies that will develop and produce testing, therapies, and vaccines, so you're not alone. The priority your products carry is extremely high because you are at the front line in helping to prevent spread, reducing exposure, and providing life-saving pulmonary support to those fighting to survive the disease. Unlike your products, detection testing, treatment therapies, and vaccines will require innovative new invention, extensive testing, and trials, so your work will buy us valuable time to get their work done. You will be producing your product, materials, and services at levels never done or even imagined. With your success, we will be able to take pride in this accomplishment. I've got a few notes before I let you meet with our representatives and your teams. 1, you will be required to produce pricing information on your particular product for the past 3 years. You will be compensated for the products you produced based on the lowest price charged in the past 3 years. This is not a profit-motivated project. While we will ensure the process will not do you in, this will not be a watershed profit opportunity. We will actively be tracking products already produced and out in your supply chain. We will aggressively prosecute any company or individual that is caught hoarding or price gouging. We cannot and will not delay or reduce any of the production quotas mandated in this effort. Too many lives are at stake not to do so, as any delays will only result in a longer period of impact of the virus and much greater negative economic impact. All finished product will be paid for by the Fed, and all distribution of product will be managed by the Fed. This will ensure the distribution is prioritized based on need. The virus is expected to hit large cities with international travel hubs first. We then expect the virus to make its way outward in small cities, towns, and rural areas. Locales experiencing the highest infection rates will get the supplies they need first, no exceptions. Please note, achieving production requirements for this first round will be followed by a second round of production. That round will serve 2 purposes. 1, ensure continuing availability of your products through the duration of the first phase of infection and supplies sufficient to support a second wave, which is highly anticipated. 2, then we will restock our national stockpiles to ensure that we are prepared for future epidemics, which are probable. In closing, the President wishes to thank you for your time today. We have approximately 30 days to produce several years' worth of product. Success in the challenge is not optional, and it will be a milestone in American ingenuity and our raw power to produce. I will leave you to get to work with your federal team representatives, and we all thank you.
This concludes the call. There will be no questions and answers at this time. A transcript of this call will be forwarded within the hour. Thank you. Goodbye.